Hello everyone. Today we're going to discuss Mao Zedong, which is continuation of the first subject. It is about his life, and with that I'll go ahead and turn it to Tristan.
All right, thank you. So specifically today we're going to be talking about the subject of protracted People's War. And essentially Protracted People's War is Mao's theory of how a successful revolution would be enacted in rural China and pre-industrial China. Now, essentially, there were a couple steps to Mao's theory of revolution of Protracted People's War. Now, the first step would be constituted by the Vanguard Party going out into the countryside, the Chinese countryside, and radicalizing a small group of Chinese peasants. Now, essentially, this radicalized group of Chinese peasants would then go on to form a democratic group that would report back to the Vanguard Party about the conditions in their part of rural China, and essentially they would democratically decide on what decisions and what thoughts were to be voiced towards the Vanguard Party. Now, these democratic groups, along with the Vanguard Party, would go into other groups, other areas of rural China and radicalize more peasants. And these other peasants would then go on to create more democratic groups. And essentially, after several democratic groups are made, these democratic groups coincide with each other and democratically vote on decisions made in the rural parts of China together. So they would democratically decide based on the votes of these groups, which are made up by peasants, and the ideas of the Vanguard Party. So essentially, after pretty much all of rural China has been radicalized and has gained enough power to be considered a considerable force for change, these democratic groups, along with the Vanguard Party, the Chinese Communist Vanguard Party, they would go into the more industrialized parts of rural China and take over the main central cities. And essentially, after these main central cities are taken over by these democratic groups under the leadership of the Vanguard Party, that would mean that most of China by that point would be communist controlled. And after these big cities are conquered by the communist factions of the rural Chinese peasants, they would spread out into the other lesser populated and lesser industrialized parts of these cities. And from this, essentially after the lesser population cities of China are taken over, and the rural parts of China are taken over, the countryside is taken over by the communist forces, and the central main cities of China are to be taken over by the central forces. Essentially, pretty much all of China would be communist ruled, and that would essentially be Mao's theory, the very basics of Mao's theory of a successful, effective revolution, and how that would go down in pre-industrial China.
All right, with that, I'll conclude this subject. We'll follow up with another series. Thank you for watching.